Welcome to the second episode of DDW Tonight. I'm your host, Andrew Shek, and I'm here with four members of the league here. We have Ike Dennison, who's the co-commissioner, Jack Statler, who's the manager of the Yard Goats. We have Brady, who's the manager of the Wood Ducks, and of course, we have Matthew Gutschall, who has his own league, HWL. Check him out. So today, we have some nominees for some of the awards that we're going to give out at the end of the 2024 season. Let me rephrase that. Whoever names I say is not who won the award, it's who is nominee. So out of these three people that I name, one of them will win the award. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first off, we have Rookie of the Year. Your Rookie of the Year nominees are Timmy, Grayson, and Jameson. So through this list, we did not see Seth Wilmoth, which I was very surprised not to see. And we did not see Brody Canals on there either. Ike, what's your opinions on Seth not being a nominee this year for Rookie of the Year?
I think, he's my guy with the Grasshoppers. But, we do have Timmy. So I'm glad about that. Can't complain. We got one of the three. So I'm glad about that. But I think Grayson and Jameson both had solid years. I can't complain. I think they deserve it. And I think if Seth would have had a better series, the second series round, then he probably definitely would have been on the board. But I'm okay with it. Congrats, Timmy, and congrats, Jameson and Grayson. Good job, guys.
Timmy, any words here for being a nominee for the 2024 season Rookie of the Year?
It's an honor. You know, obviously I couldn't show up every time as I live an hour and a half away, but to be able to travel up there a couple times and play and perform pretty well felt good, and glad for everyone who voted for me. I'd like to say I did not vote for myself. I think I voted Grayson. So, yeah, thanks to everyone who voted for me, and hopefully we can win the award.
I love it. I love it. All right, here we go. We have the C. Houston Award, which is the hitting award. So your nominees are Mason Dingfelt, Ike Dennison, and Hunter Ho are your three nominees for the C. Houston Award of 2024. Ike Dog smiling. He's excited. I can already see it. How's it feel, Ike Dog?
Like Timmy said, it's an honor. Very competitive league, and I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my teammates for putting me in this position to get this award. I know there's a lot of hitters in this league, and I don't know if I'm necessarily one of the top three, but I'm thankful to everyone that voted, and got playoffs coming up, so that's what really counts.
Yeah, definitely got some competition there with Dink and Hunter, but we're gonna, like you said, we're gonna see what's gonna happen here. So next on the list.
Yo, wait.
Yeah,
That's mad. Ike over Adam. Like, I'm not trying to glaze Adam here, but
whoa.
Ike over Adam.
Ooh.
I think that's crazy. That's absurd.
Wow. Ike, what do you have to say?
That's absurd.
I honestly agree. I don't feel like I hit that well. Especially towards the end of the year, but yeah, I think Adam definitely should have been in the top three.
The league has spoken, Ike. No. The league has spoken. They wanted Ike Dennison on.
No Luke Reed either.
Yeah,
no Luke Reed. That was surprising.
I was seeing that as Rookie of the Year right there. Wait, no.
He's not a rookie.
Never mind.
Yeah.
That's crazy. This is the second year.
Yeah, not a rookie.
Yeah, I thought about putting him down, but I said somebody was better. So,
yep.
Personally, in my opinion,
a rookie. So he was in the league, I think in 2020. Yeah, 2023 was his first time in the league. So
yeah, I just don't think he came a lot, which is why I don't really remember him.
Yeah, that's fair. So, all right. Next on the list, we have the G-Star Award, which is the pitching award. So your nominees are Adam, Aaron, and Jack. So there is your
solid.
pitching, your top three for pitching. Jack, how do you feel?
Personally, quite surprised to be on this list. I didn't think I threw my best this year. I thought years prior I've thrown better, but I'm very humbled to be on this list and very appreciative. Very grateful.
Nothing more I need. Yeah, nothing more. So, all right, here we go. League MVP. Most valuable player. Let's get into it. Your list has Mason Dingfelt again, Luke Reed, who we just talked about, and we have Hunter Ho is your top three MVP candidates. So seeing a little bit of a repeat there for Dink and Hunter, who's also nominated for the hitting award, and then Dink, or sorry, let me rephrase that. Luke, who, like you said, got in there. I think mostly for his work towards the Memorial Day tournament, where we saw him, really shine there. Definitely played his heart out. So that's amazing. Then for the Gold Glove Award, we have Josiah, Brady, and once again, Grayson. That is your three Gold Glove Award nominees. Brady, how does it feel to be a nominee for the Gold Glove?
It feels good, but like big respect to my other two competitors. Sai, he shows up every game in the field. I can't wait to talk to him later. It's gonna be great. And Grayson, yeah, a lot of respect for him. Takes weight training. Strong.
I love it. Yeah, like you said, like you said, another. I think this was a great list this year. There's a few people that I was surprised that weren't on there. I think Luke maybe should have been, contestant for hitting. But just some other ones on there, like
Kind
Seth
of
was
odd
Rookie of
that
the year. But the league has spoken. They watched the videos. They understood perfectly.
find it kind of odd that Luke Reed's an MVP, but not the hitting award.
I know.
Yes.
That's what I said.
What I'd say on that is, I mean, I think he probably should have been on hitting. I think Adam probably should have been too. But I mean, I'm grateful for being on it, but I feel like there's probably better options. What I would say for MVP is, I think the definition of the world is who's the most valuable player that was to their team. And we saw Luke take that team from a bottom dweller in the league to now being right there for the contention for the World Series. So I think that's why he would be on the MVP conversation and maybe not on the other two. And I think he was well rounded. So I think that's huge props to Luke. The youngster. Great for you, Luke.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You can't overlook Big Dink. I mean, he brought the trash pandas to a whole new level. And although he gets on his teammates, and that's what makes him an MVP.
Okay, but I can disagree here. Mason, he's got the bat, but does he have the pitching? And we see that with Luke, he has the bat and he has the arm. Does Dink have both of them? And that's the thing that I think really, pushes the MVP vote. And, so I am very interested to see what's
I
going
will
to happen. It all
I will
depends
say
on the playoffs.
facing Dink, hitting against him, he's kind of wild, but he's also got a lot of movement on that slider. And like I said in the last episode, he's kind of effectively wild. So sometimes he can struggle, but also at the same time, if he's anywhere near the zone, he's really tough to hit.
Oh yeah,
So depends on the day.
Yeah, 100%. If he's locked in, I mean, I'd say he's probably I'd say he's top five pitchers in the league if he's locked in. But we just haven't seen enough of it. I mean, we've seen Luke literally dish out. I mean, play after, and I think he's more reliable when it comes down to it. I think he's more of a valuable player. Like, what do you have to say?
I agree. It's a good point. Good points by both of you. It's tough. I think it'd be tough to pick between the two. I think, like Timmy said, especially facing Dink. I mean, I think that series, especially on the mound, he was really on. He's very effectively wild, which is a really good term to use for him. I want to take a second to talk about Aaron for the pitching. I think you're looking at the best pitch in the entire league, which I think we're gonna get to eventually with the pitch grips. The best pitch in the entire league, I believe, is Aaron's slider. That thing has tons of movement. As a hitter, I mean, there's somewhere you literally can't do anything about it, and that's really impressive.
Yeah, I think, especially for, I mean, talking as a pitcher myself, one of the bigger things is, reliable pitches. I mean, you have to have a reliable pitch that you can throw in blitzball. Okay, it has to be a strike. For me personally, that's my slider. If nothing else is working, I'm going with the slider. I feel like that's Aaron's reliable pitch too. It's just something to get him out of a jam. But he perfected it to the point where it's probably his best pitch maybe one of the best, maybe one of the best sliders in the league by far, in my opinion. Like Ike said, it has tons of movement, and I think he definitely deserves, to be on that list for the best pitching. Another thing though that I was wondering is, for MVP, they have Hunter on this list, and when I first saw that, I gave props to Hunter because he has the bat and he has the arm, but the Thunder team was not successful this year at all.
Mhm.
They were not successful. Let me say this, they did pretty well in the Memorial Day tournament, but should league MVP be based off of how good their team is? What is your guys' thoughts? Because personally, for me, I think it should, because if you're going to be valuable to your team, then your team is probably going to be good. Ike, what's your opinion?
Um, I mean, there's tons of examples in sports. You can look at NFL. I know Brady's a big Bills fan, but I think statistically, you can make the argument that Joe Burrow had the best season, but you can't give it to him because his team didn't make the playoffs, and it goes for a lot of things. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from Hunter. I think on the mound and hitting wise, he's very good and probably the most talented guy on the Thunder team, and especially against us, he's done a lot of things. But I'd agree with you. I think that's a really good point. I think you at minimum your team has to have a successful season. I think to be in consideration. What do you other guys think?
Um, I like what Ike said, but also like you look at baseball. Um, take Mike Trout for example. He has three MVPs. I think he's only been in the playoffs like once. He's played one playoff game, it was like a wild card game or something, maybe an ALDS. But I think in a lot of sports it's that way. But you look at baseball, it's not necessarily that way. So you mean that could translate over to wiffle ball too. It's really a preference thing whether you want to take that into account or not. But seems like the voters wanted to go with Hunter as one of the nominees.
Yeah, that is basically Brady. Jack, what do you think? Do you think it should matter, or do you think, just based off the player?
I was gonna go. I was thinking about what Ike said. Like Joe Burrow led the NFL in passing yards, passing touchdowns. Like he clearly was the sole reason that the Bengals even went 9-8. So personally, I would say he should be MVP just because, in my personal opinion, even though his team didn't make the playoffs, without him, his team is a bottom dweller in the league. Like he personally pulled that team up. So I think like what the Thunder go? What they win? 2, 3 games?
I'm pretty sure they went 4-8, I want to say. I mean,
So I mean Hunter could be responsible for those 3, 4 games just because if he's getting voted in for MVP, he's the one putting the runs on the board and he's the one like shutting down the other
you
team
know,
pitching wise usually. So I feel like it doesn't really matter team success. It just matters how well they're able to pull their team with them, even if their team's not having the greatest year.
I think losing Wes was, pretty hurtful to their team as well. I mean, he didn't show up once all year. He was drafted second overall for their team and just didn't really pan out the way that they hoped. I think that was a struggle for them. Like you said, I honestly, talking with you guys, I was a little, on the fence about Hunter being in the MVP conversation, but talking with you guys, I think, it makes sense. His team was hurting this year for sure. There's no doubt about that. But he did have one of the best performances on the mound, and I think hitting wise as well. So, I agree probably with that choice by the league. Um, so I think that's pretty much it. Uh, Gold Glove Award, Grayson was an interesting choice. But looking back, I mean, he had that crucial double play for Jack, your team actually, during the Memorial Day tournament. Any words about Grayson that you'd like to share?
Grayson was there in the field. I can see him improving though, because there were a few errant throws that could hit him there, but they weren't too hurtful to our team. But whenever he really needed to get, like him and Isaiah were pretty good out in the field. Isaiah covering first base because that's just where he plays, so he knows how to read the ball there. And Grayson, he can throw off balance. You saw during baseball season, that kid, he can throw from anywhere, any position, any arm angle. So it's very nice. It's very nice to have those two behind me whenever I'm pitching.
Yeah, that's like you said, great answer there. So that's great. So that's our first segment for tonight. Let's go ahead and get into our second segment here. We're gonna be talking about the art of pitching. It's one of the most crucial parts of I think a wiffle ball team is you gotta have pitchers. You can only throw someone for so long as well. It's 4 innings is the limit. So after 4 innings, you have to pitch someone else. So in a series. So, let's just start down the line here. We're gonna go over, what pitches all of us throw. For me personally, I throw a slider. It's definitely my most dominant pitch. I throw it the most often. I throw a curveball, which I don't throw a lot because it's very close to the slider, except the release point is different. I throw a two seam, which I've been working on all season, and I kind of perfected it towards the end of the season. I was a little bit wild towards the beginning of the season. I spiked it a lot, and it was a very hard pitch for me to learn, but I got the hang of it throughout the season. I throw a changeup, barely ever throw it. It just depends on the account. If someone keeps fighting away at balls and I gotta, get them with something, normally throw the changeup. And then I've been working on a knuckle drop this year. I threw it a little bit last year towards the end of the season. Threw it maybe a couple times. It's a very hard pitch to throw. I think out of the times I threw the pitch, probably threw it about 4 times maybe, and only landed one or two for a strike. So it's a very hard pitch to learn. Ike, what pitches do you throw?
So my repertoire consists mostly of fastball. I throw my curve and slider. I both use the knuckle grip with. I have a little representation here, so I put my knuckle in one of like the tabs, and then outstretch my finger. And the difference between the two is my curve I'm more over the top, and then slider I bring the arm angle down a little bit. It all depends on arm slot, arm angle, and I like it because there's a variety of different movements and planes you can throw with it, just depending on your arm slot. And then I throw a splitter, and then anytime, every once in a while, if I want to change it up, I'll throw a submarine or a little underhand.
I was gonna ask you about that because I saw Key and I were watching some footage today, and we saw you throw almost like a submarine pitch and actually landed for a strike for the strikeout. And we were just amazed but I thought about it, and you're always working different arm angles and stuff. You're always trying to get the advantage of your batters, and that's what you have to do as a pitcher in the league. You have to beat the batters. So like you said, can you talk about your submarine a little bit? How did you come across it, or is it just something you started doing? Like, what's the whole story behind that pitch? Because it is probably one of the most famous pitches in the league because you barely see it anymore, and you kind of perfected a little bit. So let's hear it from you.
I'm gonna draw inspiration from Kyle Schultz from MLW,
That's
the
good.
most um, probably the most popular football league out there. I watched him for a long time, and the way I see him, anytime I feel like he gets in trouble, he can use that to get out of get out of tough situations, and it just changes it up sometimes. It depends on the series. I mean, sometimes if I just know it's way off, then I'm just gonna abandon it. Like it's not something that I can really rely on, but it's nice to have for sure.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and get it to Jack. Jack, you were on the list for pitching nominee this year. What's some things that you throw? And let's just hear a little bit about you. What do you throw?
So I've been working on many different pitches just so to catch everybody off guard, keep it different. So I work in a fastball that has some up and in movement if I throw it high. A riser, two seam, slider, curveball, and a drop ball. My slider is definitely my best pitch, and I'm trying to work in that two seam because then they will have opposite movements of each other as the two seam will go into a right-handed batter and the slider will go away. But I try like my riser and my drop ball are also opposites, so I try and keep stuff different just so different movements, different angles will keep the batters off balance.
Thank you. That's something that I realized with my two seam is it's complete opposite movement, like you said, of the slider, which is my pitch that I use the most. So it actually works pretty well with each other. Brady, let's talk about you for a little bit. So you pitched the doubleheader against the Thunder, came out, hasn't you haven't had a lot of pitching experience, and you kind of dominated on the mound. Let's talk about you for a little bit. What pitches do you throw, or what other what do you do on the mound?
Well, I think you guys are overcomplicating it. I throw I throw one pitch, and that is a fastball because I don't know any other pitches. Because I just I don't have the experience on the mound yet, but I'm excited to get back out there. It was fun, and I did well. So excited to see what I can do. Maybe strike out Ike. We're gonna go to the World Series here, so I mean,
Uh, see about that. I mean,
Ooh.
I think it makes it a lot really easy on the hitter. You expecting the fastball. I mean, I'm not gonna take anything away from you. I saw that series. You had a really good command with it, but I feel like our whole Grasshoppers team, we are a fastball hitting team. If you're gonna throw them in the zone, we are going to smack it. So,
I'd like to see
uh,
you try, quite frankly.
With the
okay.
controversy here.
I like it.
Hey, he told me he was gonna bring it tonight, so we got some.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said,
A little bit of
you know,
heat.
he yelled at me. He said, "Adam, you went too soft on Ike. He's our opponent." And I said, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, whatever. No, Brady just tells it how it is. So yeah, like I said, or maybe Brady has a ton of pitches and he's just not telling you because he secretly knows he's gonna use them. So here we go. Timmy, what do you throw as far as I know you're mostly a wiffle ball guy, but what are you trying to perfect bliss ball wise?
It's funny because showing up to the Memorial Day tournament, I had no arsenal. I didn't have a single pitch. So I was in the field for my first game. So I was just watching Ike and East on the mound. I saw Ike using that knuckle curve grip. So I incorporated that with my slider. I can control that pretty well. Has a little bit of movement. I like to hit that inside corner on a righty with it. And then I also just have a two seam. I throw it kind of sidearm. I feel like I can get more run with it. But I mean, it's been somewhat effective so far, especially in that Trash Pandas series. Worked a little bit better, but it's coming along. Maybe you can add a few more pitches going into the playoffs. But I don't know. We'll see. Just got those two for now.
Sounds great. Let's talk about Brady and Ike. So you guys have a little bit of a rivalry going because your matchup here happened in March. Brady, let's hear a little bit from you, team captain of the Wood Ducks here. What is your game plan, or what are you thinking going into this game?
To quote Isaac here from last DDW tonight, I can't. I think for us, I can't go into our game plan too much. I mean, like, I don't really have a game plan because I'm not worried about them.
Ooh.
That's
Jesus.
let's just go into like his quotes here. I
Man.
wrote them down. I wrote down Isaac's quotes. Here's the
boy.
one that really stood out to me. I mean, overall, we just need to plan around you, Adam. I don't think they, referring to myself and Kieran, can beat us. So I really want to get into this. Like, why do you think that, Isaac? Like, why? I just want to know your thinking behind
I
it.
mean, I just I've seen you guys play, and I do think Brady. I will say I think you brought a good sport to the Wood Ducks, and I think ever since Kieran stepped down and gave it to you, I think there's been a new energy around you guys. I mean, you guys were dead mid-season, so I'm not trying to like create a rivalry here. Like I respect you, I do. But I think the point remains is, I mean, Adam is should arguably a top two, three, four, five player in the league, and uh, I think given how our other matchups have went, is we've controlled the rest of the lineup, but it's just one guy that normally can flip the game around. Like Adam, the first meeting, you're looking like at Aaron, our last series, who really killed us with the long ball. And I feel like if we limit the one guy, we limit the main damage. No disrespect to you. I'm not saying anything towards you. My point is that if we limit the main damage, then we're gonna put the pressure on you and Kieran. And hey, if you guys beat us, if we limit Adam and you two beat us, you can talk all you want, because that's huge credit to you. And I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that's gonna be our game plan.
I have another question. Do you want my autograph? Because you're on my meat right now. So let's. I'll give you an autograph after we
What do you
beat
want me
you.
to do?
Okay,
What do you want me
I'll give you an autograph after me, Kieran, and Adam
So
beat
you're gonna
you.
so you're,
Yeah,
you're
we'll
gonna
sign a blitz
Kieran,
ball. We'll sign a
Kieran's
blitz
gonna
ball.
strike you, Timmy, and who's your other guy?
Seth.
Easton
Easton.
Seth.
Seth. Okay, Kieran's gonna strike all three of you out. Okay, that's how
He'll
much
probably strike,
confidence
he'll
I have
probably
in my
strike me
players.
out. I strike out a lot.
So
Timmy, don't give in, man. He's trying to
So,
psych you
so
out.
let me get this right. Let me
No,
get
he'll
this right.
strike. They'll strike me
get it
out, but I'll
straight.
still hit some home runs. I'm a home run
Okay,
and
okay,
strikeout kind of
okay.
guy.
Don't get in your head, Timmy. Let's not lose the mental battle already.
I'm a home run and strikeout kind of guy.
That's not what you want. You want people on the bags.
That's
That's why they hit me third.
You want people on the
Drives in.
bags.
All right, let me get this right, Brady. So
Yeah.
last show, I dished out some fair criticism. I understand why you would take that personally. But now,
Of course, I'm gonna take it personally. You're taking shots at my team.
okay, but now I'm trying to be kind and I'm trying to be respectful about it. I didn't
Okay.
want that quote to get blown out of proportion, and now you're saying that I'm meat riding you, like, like I can't win here. Like no matter what I say, I'm gonna get flamed for. Like I don't know what you want me to say. I think the quote remains. I do believe that if we limit Adam, I'm confident we can beat you two. So it all comes down to what happens. I
Okay,
mean,
I can't wait to see
right?
it. I can't wait to see
the proof
it.
will be in the pudding. So we'll see.
Okay, I can't wait to see it.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys. That was a pretty entertaining way to end off the night. I want to thank you all for the support on last Wednesday's episode. Did really well, and we're very happy to implement this into DDW. So I want to thank all the fans out there. Hopefully you found tonight pretty interesting. Like you said, you have to stay tuned for next week. Hopefully we're gonna get some new people on the show. We're gonna hopefully get Aaron and Josiah to be on the show to, kind of discuss their matchup in the playoffs in March. So thank you all for watching. And like you said, stay tuned for next Wednesday.